Hey, good morning, guys, and good morning, Courtney, and thank God Greg and Wiggy aren't here this morning. I can't even imagine what they're going to be like to deal with.
They were complaining last night upon landing, so we got that coming in. Greg was already complaining about his ears, the pressure in his ears, whining.
The cabin depressurized too quickly for Greg, I guess.
Well, you know what that is? That's Narpian behavior, and Narpian behavior, NARP, stands for non-athletic regular person.
Hey, Boomer, I caught your national show over the weekend, which we air here on WEI, and you were defending the Patriots on your show against Valenti. Does Valenti represent America? Does America still hate this team and this franchise?
I don't think they hate them. I don't think that there are a lot of people that believe in them just simply because of the strength of schedule, what happened to all these coaches after they had played this schedule that they had this year, how many were fired. And then when you look at what happened in the playoffs and all the different scenarios that the teams that they were playing against, had to go through, whether it be a backup quarterback, missing tackles, a wide receiver for Houston out. So I think there's a lot of people out there making excuses for the Patriots, but I've been doing this for a long time in Boston, and this radio program that I started way back when in 2001 was with a Patriot team that nobody gave a chance at the Super Bowl against the Rams. And I'll never forget picking the Patriots to beat the Rams going into that Super Bowl. And nothing surprises me when it comes to this franchise. It's one of the best run franchises in all of professional sports in this country. The fact that they're back in the Super Bowl this quickly is nothing short of amazing. And the one thing I said when this playoff started, and Courtney, you'll remember this, I said if you want to argue against strength of schedule and you want to stand tall about what you accomplished this year, go out and validate it. And I think they have validated it by making it to the Super Bowl.
Boomer, everybody here is talking about Drake Maye's shoulder and what's going on there. When it comes to you and watching what they did against the Broncos, did you see an injury happen there? And how can a quarterback overcome an injury like that going into the Super Bowl?
I thought he hurt himself when he was running with the ball and he fell awkwardly on his right shoulder. So it might have been a mild separation or something like that. I don't think it's anything worse than that, or he wouldn't have finished the game in Denver. I don't really take that second half too seriously, just given the fact of the weather and the way that Josh McDaniels was calling plays in the second half. He went back to the running game. It was 80% run, if not higher than that. And that's who they are, and that was their identity. I mean, look, their offense has not been great throughout these playoffs. They're only averaging 18 points per game. I think it's one of the lowest points per game for a team going into the Super Bowl through the playoffs since I don't remember when. It's been a long time. So they have to be better on offense. There's no question about that. They need bigger plays in the passing game. The problem is they're going to be playing against the number one scoring defense in the Seattle Seahawks. Now, they have played the second and third in the, I believe, in the Broncos and also the Texans. So they're used to playing against good defenses here, and they've won these games. And due in large part to their own defense, which has been spectacular in these games. So I would think a medium score game. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. It's going to be very close to the over under. I'm going to tend to go over in this game just simply because I'm expecting the weather to be better. But I also expect Drake Maye to be better. And I think that Josh McDaniels will have a much better game plan going into this game against this defense.
Boomer, you bring up Josh McDaniels. Pretty cool scene on the mic'd up Patriots sideline in the AFC Championship game where Drake, in a moment of sort of vulnerability, tells Josh McDaniels, this is hard. And Josh and Drake have this back and forth. How, as someone who's been on the sideline, talking to coordinators, had been in big games earlier in your career, can you sort of give us what he means by it's hard? What's different about the playoffs as a quarterback?
The intensity and the defenses that they're playing against. So think about their schedule, the regular season schedule. They were able to put up a lot of points. They played some really poor defenses. Opposing offenses would turn the football over. And this was a game in which Denver turns the ball over once, and the Patriots end up scoring a touchdown because they had great field position, and that's it. Everything else was really, really hard, especially in the second half, especially with the wind blowing, the snow, the footing, all of it. And, that's part of the beauty of the NFL. If you can win a game that's ugly, you still win and you move on. That's all that really matters. So I can understand where Drake's coming from. It's a little bit like when Sam Darnold was a rookie for the Jets, and he said he saw ghosts on the field when he was playing against Bill Belichick and the Patriots. And I totally understood what he meant because for us as rookies in the NFL, the defenses are so different than they are in college. So sometimes you think there's like 12 or 13 guys out there on the field because everything is moving so fast. And I think that's probably what Drake was talking about. And Josh said the exact right thing, man. This is going to be one of the best 6.5 minutes of our life. and they call the game-winning play, which was a bootleg. Don't throw it in the air. Just fake it out. You're a good enough athlete to go make the play. He did, and I think that's going to be required against the Seattle defense too. Their front seven is really good. They do get after the passer with a four-man pass rush. Will Campbell hopefully is a little bit better, a little bit more healthy. He's going to be going against some really talented players like DeMarcus Lawrence, and that's going to be a matchup to watch. The other matchup to watch on the other side of the ball, of course, is going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba, and whether or not they're going to mirror him with Christian Gonzalez. I mean, that's a matchup for the ages right there. Two great football players, two great young football players. So, those are the two important players for me when it comes to the Patriots. It's going to be Christian Gonzalez, and it's going to be Will Campbell.
There's your Drake Take presented by your New England Chevy dealers and the Chevy Silverado, the official truck of Drake Maye. Boomer, you know Sam Darnold well. Why, looking back on it now, did he struggle so badly in New York, and how good is he now? How good is he this year?
Well, he's really good, and, he was 20 years old when he came here to New York, and, I didn't want them to start him. I didn't want them to play him his first year. They plucked him out of USC, and they figured that he could handle it because he had a great Rose Bowl, and he just wasn't mature enough. That's the thing about Drake Maye. Like, his maturity level, is really off the charts. And not every player is the same, especially when they're 20 years old and they're thrust to the New York Jets, which has been a disaster area for a lot of quarterbacks, including Zach Wilson and Mark Sanchez. So they mishandled him. They did not develop him correctly. And, it was just really sad. And then he had to go through the rigors of playing for the Panthers. And then he goes out to San Francisco, what I call quarterback school with Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy, watched how it was done. And then he goes to Minnesota, and he was going there as the backup, not the starter. He was going to be the backup to their first-round draft choice, J.J. McCarthy, who got hurt. And he was, I think the Minnesota Vikings caught a break there because that's where Sam Darnold really was able to take the next step. He had two bad games towards the end of his time in Minnesota, and then Seattle went out and got him, and I'll never forget this. A lot of people were saying, you're going Sam Darnold over Geno Smith? Are you kidding me? And I think Sam Darnold was ready to take over and lead. So it's maturity. He's grown into a nice young man, and I'm actually kind of rooting for him just simply because of what happened to him here in New York.
Boomer, we haven't talked to you since the news broke about Bill Belichick not being a first ballot Hall of Famer. In your opinion, do you think it was Spygate? Do you think it was the cheating allegations? Or do you think it's media members that hold a grudge against Belichick?
I've said this last week on my show here in New York. First and foremost, the Pro Football Hall of Fame changed their criteria in 2025, allowing coaches to be eligible for the Hall of Fame induction after being out of the NFL for 1 year. It used to be that they had to be out of the NFL for 5 years like players. So now all of a sudden, Bill Belichick finds himself in a very weird spot. He's been out of the league for 2 years. He's up for induction. Of course, he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no question about that. But I don't see him retiring. If the Giants or the Falcons or anybody else would have hired him, he'd be coaching in the NFL. And he's obviously coaching down at North Carolina. So I don't know why you would put somebody in who hasn't officially retired. And then it makes me think as to why isn't Mike Shanahan in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Why isn't Tom Coughlin in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? What about those guys? So this is a weird one just simply because I believe that the Pro Football Hall of Fame changing their criteria really screwed this whole thing up. So, he's going to be in. It's just this whole thing about first ballot versus their criteria, I think really put everybody in a bad spot. So it's unfortunate, but Bill is the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. We all know that. I know that. You guys know that. And I don't think there's anybody that holds anything against him. There may be guys that are a little bit sympathetic to other people that have been on this list longer, including L.C. Greenwood, Kenny Anderson, and, of course, the great Roger Craig and Robert Kraft. Like, why isn't Robert Kraft already in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? If I were to put him up against Jerry Jones, I'm like, he should be in there. They've accomplished about the same, if not more, as an owner. So I think there are two guys that have been snubbed here.
Yeah, Boomer, you bring up Robert Kraft, and he certainly bared the brunt of the fan anguish here over the last several years when he let Brady go, took Belichick's side. Brady wins the Super Bowl, obviously. Then the sort of clunky departure of Belichick with the Dynasty docuseries that a lot of Patriots fans felt was a little bit petty against the former coach. But entering Sunday, now this is his third Super Bowl with a different coach and a different quarterback. Obviously, Parcells and Bledsoe, Brady and Belichick, and now Vrabel and Drake Maye. it is astounding what he has been able to do over the last 30 years as owner of this team.
Yeah, without question. I mean, and let's face it, he was a fan first, and he had, I believe he inherited Sullivan Stadium, and he built Gillette, and then he built everything around Gillette, and really was the model for a lot of other teams out there. I know Jerry Jones was doing some of that stuff down in Dallas as well. But when you think about his success, the fact that now, yes, 3 different coaches in Super Bowls, everything that has gone on there, the amount of success, Spygate, Deflategate, all these types of things have been going on in the NFL since the NFL began. All these guys are alpha male, meathead coaches and players all trying to win football games at all costs. And this owner has been a shining light throughout the NFL, and his whole anti-Semitism crusade is just amazing as well. So he's so much more than just an NFL owner. He is actually a mover and shaker in all the biggest situations in this country, and the fact that if he doesn't make it in this year, that too would be a snub, I think, in the face of the Patriots.
Time for the question of the week for Boomer, presented by McFarland Energy, the region's most dependable provider of home heating oil delivery and expert HVAC services at McFarlandEnergy.com. Boomer, if I'm not mistaken, you played in the '89 Super Bowl with a sore shoulder. So the question here, if you have one, how much does an extra week help? Does shooting it up help? How big of an impact do you think this will have on Drake come Sunday?
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay. He's a lot younger than I was. I mean, he's 22, and I think I was 27 at the time, so it wasn't like I was really that old. But, yeah, I had a really bad left shoulder for about the last 6 weeks of the season. And, just getting up and trying to get out there and play and make the most of it, and hopefully whatever they gave me wouldn't wear off until late in the game, which is pretty much the way it went. But he'll be out there. The adrenaline will be flowing. I think he's going to be fine. The biggest problem he's going to have is going to be the defense of the Seahawks. They are, like I said, the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL, and there's a reason for that. Their front 7 is terrific. They got really good cover guys in the back end. Devin Witherspoon is one of the best cornerbacks in football. So they're kind of like seeing the Broncos all over again. That's what it's going to feel like to Drake, and hopefully Josh is going to get him some easy completions early on in this game, get him in a flow, which he never got into in Denver, and I think he'll be fine. I think this game is going to be close, guys. I think it's going to come down to a field goal at the end of the game here. Whoever has the ball last, man, is going to have a chance to win it.
And if you had to pick today?
I'm picking the Patriots in the points for sure. I mean, 3 straight underdogs have won these Super Bowls, I believe. So the Patriots in the points are my betting favorite, and I do think the Patriots, that defense can definitely get turnovers. That's one Achilles heel of Sam Darnold. He'll take it and he'll throw it to JSN any which time during the game, and that's when interceptions happen. So I think the Patriots are not as far off from the Seahawks as a lot of people think they are.
So if the Seahawks have the ball at the 1 with 20 seconds left and they need a touchdown to win it, they'll run it?
Yeah, they better run it, or they're going to burn down Seattle, that's for sure.
Well, Boomer, thank you, and we're hoping for one more Victory Monday with you next week.
All right, sounds good, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy.